Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Hog Talk podcast, presented to you by Vision Exteriors, live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios, part of the Lee Van Buzz Radio Network, where you can hear us each week on 106.7 Buzz 2 in Central Arkansas. All live shows are presented to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I'm Porter Hayes. Alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall, and on tonight's show, Hogs Advance, 97-78 victory over Hawaii. Hawaii tried to make it a game a couple times during the game, but for the most part, Arkansas jumps out to a huge lead. You could not tell this team has flown halfway across the country to play this game. So we'll jump deep dive right into that. A very, very exciting game, Adam.
From top to bottom. Let's see. Malik Ewan finished with 16, Brazil 19, Darius Acuff Jr. 24, Billy Richmond 10, Malik Thomas 21, and DJ Wagner 7. This is what you needed from this squad. Obviously, Nick Pringle was out for the game, but guys did what they could do with a limited bench, and even more so than normal. Hats off to Malik Ewan. I mean, coming in with 16 points, 12 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block.
And I'm not cut you off. Offensive rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, huge right there.
Oh yeah, that's what we've been needing from Malik Ewan all season long. And so if we're getting it now's as good as ever. Obviously, we'll go out on Saturday. The time will be announced later tonight and play High Point, who just knocked off Wisconsin before the Arkansas game. So we talked about previously, like, I don't care if top seeds get knocked off before Arkansas gets to play them. Make the path to the Final Four national championship as easy as possible. I don't care at this point.
Look, this is the most relaxed I've seen this team. Right there. I mean, how it is, and we'll point to the High Point game. And exactly what we talked about. You can't let these teams hang around. You can't give them the momentum. You're in a neutral court. It's March Madness, the vibes, anything can happen with this March Madness. So you really never gave them a chance. I don't even think they cut it within double digits. I think they got to within 10. And I believe that was the only – prove me if I'm wrong.
No, I think that's right.
I think that's the and right there at the end. And then they didn't count the 3 at the very end of but – Adam, right there at the beginning, I was like, man, they're 0 for 8. They're going to start making some of these threes. They were getting some open looks. And I was getting kind of nervous because I was like, they're going to start hitting some of these shots.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did. But that's why it's important that you build the lead that you had. It was like 24-7 at one point. And then you let them come back, but you had that cushion. Then you come right out of the second half. They go on a little run, and then you come back and you fight back. Games like that right there, that is how you're going to win this tournament.
Yeah, I think the closest it got when Arkansas got their lead going, it was 36-27. And then after that, Arkansas didn't let them back within double digits. So, we talk about keeping your foot on the gas because we've seen too many teams that Arkansas had, no matter the sport, just kind of settle in, and the other team ends up making a run. And even when Hawaii finally started hitting those threes, Arkansas would come right back down and score in some capacity. So they kept them at arm's reach the entire game, essentially, and that's exactly what Arkansas needed to do. Didn't shoot that great from 3-point, but that's kind of a given every now and again. I mean, especially after hitting 15 threes against Vanderbilt this weekend in the SEC championship. I kind of figured they might not obviously shoot as well. I think Brazil was 1 for 7 from 3. Darius was 2 for 5. Billy Richmond 0 for 2. Malik Thomas 1 for 5. DJ Wagner 0 for 2. So, I mean, you struggled there, but 15 to 17 from the free throw line. All in all, I feel like top to bottom, refs included, this was a good game.
And this is just how good Darius Acuff is. He had a bad game and scored 24 points.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm saying bad game by his standards, he had an off game, was 9 of 19, had 3 turnovers. I mean, very and then 2 blocks. He got blocked twice. Like, very uncharacteristic things for his game. And you still won by, well, let's just call it 20 points. Mm-hmm. So that's where it is very important when we asked. Now you got to go play Saturday, and then you get a break. Like, drop your nuts, let's play, give it your all, because you're going to be rewarded. You win on Saturday against High Point. You got the first, it's just like the SEC tournament all over again. You got High Point. Now they're going to be ready to go. I mean, you watch that. Wisconsin was up 8. I mean, it had the game in hand with 2 minutes left in the game. And they come back and come in and make it a game, and then the layup at the end. And to have the awareness to get the block. And I'll tell you what, kudos to the refs for not calling a block or calling a foul on that play at the end. They could have very easily called a foul. I think the refs in this opening round, I don't know if they hold them to a different standard when it comes to this tournament. It seemed like all the games I was watching, they are being called way different than regular season and SEC tournament. I don't know if they had a meeting. I don't know if they was like, look, we're not making it about us now, call fair. But yet you got to give the refs flowers, because these were some very good calls, and not just the Arkansas game, in the Duke game, the Ohio State game. They let these kids play.
Mm-hmm. I'm sitting here looking, because High Point coming in, I mean, they shot 43s against Wisconsin, hit 15 of them. We know how Arkansas's 3-point defense can be, so it's kind of like today with Hawaii. I mean, if you're going to let them shoot, let them shoot. Yep. But you've just got to be able to bounce back in some sort of way, whether it's steals turning into points, fast break running, Arkansas not turning over the ball. I don't see, and this isn't to talk down on High Point or anything for what they've done, but I think Arkansas comes in Saturday and handles business. I think that this is like you put it earlier, it's this is the most relaxed they've been. So I feel like Saturday is just going to be business as usual. They're just going to come in, they're going to get their buckets, and they're just going to basically, I think, smother High Point, because that's one thing I think with Hawaii that we saw today, and we will see with High Point, is a lot of these teams aren't accustomed to a team like Arkansas running. Not only are we running, but the athleticism that we have. I mean, there's a reason that they now lead the nation in blocks, and we saw that point blank period today.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, and again, this is no disrespect at all to Hawaii. They said they weren't scared. I mean, let's not make statements saying we're not scared of anybody and they get beat by 20. Now, in all due respect, Dre Bullock had his. He had 21 points, so he did his part. But this team didn't seem like they were in a war. They were in a battle for 40 minutes and now turn around with a one-day break. Now, I don't know the status of I know there at one point Malik Thomas kind of tweaked his ankle or did something. I mean, and I'm going off of what I heard on the radio, tweaked his ankle. So we'll see how that goes. But they didn't seem like they were exerting that much energy outside of being excited and throwing alley oops to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that is another thing. High Point already played their best game. They gave Wisconsin the game that we're glad Arkansas didn't get, because it's going to be very hard. Not saying it can't happen, but historically shows it's going to be hard for High Point to do that 2 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule from this season just to see kind of who they've played, and I mean, it's really one of those schedules that, kind of like when we've talked about Miami of Ohio. They haven't really. I mean, they've obviously won
outside
a
of
lot of
Winthrop,
games, huh?
I mean, outside of Winthrop, they're in
Yeah, I
Winthrop's
mean,
league.
they just haven't played anybody. So a game like that, it's Arkansas's advantage.
Yeah, because I'm looking at their schedule overall, and I don't see a big time.
Mm-mm.
They didn't play any Power 4 school, and of course, and look, and this is where I do want to say something. To the reporter that went up to the coach and stuck the mic in the coach's face after his biggest win of his career. You're putting him in a spot, of course, to flex. You know what I mean? It's nice to have a win, but he went off and was saying nobody would play us. You're just like, let him enjoy his win.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't like the trapment there, because you're just baiting him into saying something. But again, look, if Arkansas fans, let's let him have some grace, because I mean, again, that was their biggest win ever at High Point. But yeah, when you look, they lost to Winthrop. Lost to Appalachian State, UAB. So I mean, they were 15-1 in the conference, won the conference, and was 31, and they're 31-4 overall. So their guy is going to be ready to go. So let's see, I forgot his name. Rob Martin, I believe is his name. The one that hit, Rob Martin. So he's the one that had the big game today for High Point. They're going to be ready to go. I just don't. When it comes to I was worried about Wisconsin, they don't have it. They're going to be gunning, shooting 3. So I think if you handle this game like you did against Hawaii today, you come out and you show your athleticism. You come out and Hawaii had no answer for any of Arkansas's players, and it showed.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the current spread. They've got Arkansas favored by 12.5. It's kind of hard when you get into these lower level schools. Stat comparisons really don't work, because just the level of talent that each other are playing against is completely different. Their leading scorer, Anderson, 16 points a game. He's also their leading rebounder at 6 rebounds a game. So they average 90 points a game. So I think they rely on the 3. They shoot 49%. Arkansas shoots 50%. They steal the ball a lot. 11 steals per game. So Arkansas is going to have to. This kind of goes back to kind of the SEC title game. Something's going to have to give, and what's it going to be? And in this game, I don't think that High Point's going to be able to keep up with the Darius Acuff Jr.
No,
I mean, his assist to turnover ratio is just ridiculous.
And on the defensive side for Arkansas, the biggest, when you look at this box score from the game against Wisconsin, you had 2 of your bench guys scored 28 points, 14 for Cameron Fletcher, and then Chase Johnston had 14. And I believe Chase Johnston, his only 2-point basket of the game was the runaway layup there. And they said that was the last time he'd hit a 2-pointer since December of 25. So, I mean, that just shows you this team is going to be ready to shoot the 3. And that's where I will say, any caution to this game where you're going to play differently against High Point that you did Hawaii, do not let them get early open 3s. You have to let them lock them down, hold them to 2-pointers. Don't let them, because that's, again, that goes back to that cushion. You don't have the cushion that you did have today. You're going to let them hang around. I mean, they're only down 2 at halftime to Wisconsin. It was 41-39 at half. You let them hang around, and then anything can happen. So just come out there and run a gun like you did. Wear them out. They're going to be riding this high for all day tomorrow. it's going to be hard for them to lock in and then try to come match your athleticism in the game Saturday, but do not overlook them. I know they're not going to overlook them. I mean, this team looked very locked in. It was like the 90s all over again. I mean, the flashy, the run and gun, the alley-oops. It was a lot of fun watching Arkansas play today.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen, across the board so far today, a lot of these schools. I mean, you had Louisville. They were up handily on USF. USF clawed their way back, lost by 4. Some of these lower teams, and I know USF is above High Point and Hawaii in that respect, but some of these teams that aren't, you wouldn't pick to win. They're hanging with these teams. They're having halftime leads. They're fighting their way back. Nobody outside of a couple games today, nobody's just laid down and quit. And so I think that's something that Arkansas has got to remember on Saturday is High Point's going to, try to bring their A game. So you can't get complacent and, just get this feeling of content to where you let a team like that get hot.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you talk about Duke. I mean, they're at the end. I mean, 71-65. You squeak out this. You're using a lot of energy and stamina that the further you go in the bracket, the harder the teams are getting, and you're letting in your first round game, your 16 seed, give you fits. That right there, is why it is very important to take care of business, because there's going to be a game where you're going to be in a war. Like, let's just say it, Saturday. What if Saturday's a war? You're still spent from today's game, and now you're trying to back up and then go battle with High Point. So now that you took care of business, you have a better shot of taking care of business, handling High Point, and then moving on to the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What other games are going on? Trying to look and see here. I haven't looked at the full schedule.
Right now, you got North Carolina, VCU, 24-18 right now. There's a little bit of a break before you get to your evening set of now I'll tell you what, I'm intrigued by this Texas BYU game. I think that's going to be a really good game. Texas A&M St. Mary's is later on at 6:35. Georgia plays St. Louis in an 8-9 game at 8:55, and then Gonzaga, Kennesaw State at 9. But another thing, the biggest thing I say is, everybody was talking about Missouri and all these playing. It seemed like going and playing in Portland didn't phase Arkansas one bit. It's almost like it was good for them. Mm-hmm. It was, they're out in Portland. Yes, you're going to have Razorback fans, but it gives them time to focus. And I think being out on the West Coast, and then you got to turn around and do it again next weekend. If you are lucky, or not lucky, I would say lucky. If you're blessed to win on Saturday, you get to turn around and go back to the West Coast.
And I think that this is in some ways, for a lot of these guys that were on or playing in circuit ball not too long ago, prior to Arkansas, a lot of them are used to, flying out somewhere, driving somewhere, all the travel that comes with circuit ball tournaments and things like that. A lot of them are used to this. So, Cal said, it was talking about post game, playing the afternoon game. He says it kind of bringing up Sunday the Sunday in the SEC championship, and then today, that maybe they found something on playing well in the afternoons, but he didn't want the NCAA to get any ideas to make them play at night or one of the early games. Yeah. But it obviously would have liked to have them closer to home, but at the same time, it's one of those that Coach Cal and this team, they don't care what court they're on. The fans are going to show up for them. They're going to make every game feel like as much of a home game as possible.
Well, and listen, you know what's going to happen. They take care of business against High Point. Fans are going to travel to San Diego or San Jose. They're going to travel. They are going to travel to the West Coast for the Sweet 16. That's where it's going to be like, okay, let's go. We're going to pack up. We're going out west to watch the game. But I want to bring up DJ Wagner again, because the fact that he, again, is stepping up. He had 31 minutes. Yes, he only had 7 points, but you had 7 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, only 1 turnover. 3 or 4 from the free throw line. That right there is what we want from him. If you're giving a defensive effort, 1 foul, was not fouling. You had Darius Acuff had 3 fouls. Billy Richmond had 3. Billy Richmond had 3 fouls. Dude is becoming a role player that we desperately need. If we could get that from Pringle, and maybe Cal's got something up his sleeve with Pringle holding him out today, and then maybe you were anticipating a Wisconsin win because you knew you were going to need him to fight that inside battle. Now you don't have to worry about that, but still yet. You come back, what if finally something clicks? You want something, because if you get Wagner and Pringle both to give you 5 to 7 each on top of the performance that you got from everybody else, your other 5 guys, this is going to be one of the teams that they're going to back up because there's a lot of attention going to Arkansas. And with the attention comes the haters. And I've been seeing it, the haters coming out on Arkansas about they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that. I was very concerned about Wisconsin and Arkansas. I had Wisconsin beating Arkansas just because of and my bracket's blown up. But it was all because of how you go to the Alabama game, how the inside presence of Alabama, everybody in Wisconsin had the 2 7-footers, totally different style matchup. Yeah, I mean, so I'm eating crow already with this my bracket.
That's what this time of year is for. I wonder how many perfect brackets are out there, but that's neither here nor there. I'm happy because we know that Arkansas can start off slow, especially in neutral site games, because we've seen it multiple times this year. And for them to come out and just be as fluid as they were, and really, I mean, you said it best, just to relax, the chill vibe that they had, nobody getting worked up, everybody just calm demeanor. And Darius Acuff, I mean, I honestly thought that we were going to see that 30-plus point game, especially the first half. But, like you said, his bad game, 24 points, and we've said that a couple times this season, where games, he had a bad game, but he still scored 20-something points. We've said it before. We said it in the SEC tournament. He's still going to come out and have a huge game. And obviously, it's only been one game, but we're going to be in for a show. Maybe it'll be on Saturday. Maybe it'll be Sweet 16, knock on wood. But, here we are again. Let's hope for another Sweet 16 run for Coach Cal and on to the Elite 8, Final Four, et cetera.
Yeah, and I'm looking back through the game. It was 44-34 with 3:51 left in the game. And so then you go on a little drought. 2:58 mark, you use 46-34. I'm just trying to see these lulls. The biggest thing is at the end, you go almost a minute without scoring. You went in a stretch where you'd get a bucket, minute without scoring, bucket, minute. You got to eliminate that part. If there's only one critique to the game, is right there at the end, you scored eight points in the matter of the 2 minutes, three minutes left. You scored 10 points in the last 5 minutes of the game because you had some big stretches there, the 3:51 mark to the 2:58 mark where you went without a basket and you let them score 2 or 3. I mean, just eliminate those lulls where you're letting them get back in the game. You steady, where you're giving a steady performance. If they're hitting threes, to be matching, because that was the thing at the very end of the first half was they were matching their Arkansas's twos with their threes, and it just kept closing the gap a little bit. And that 3 at the end didn't count. That could have been one of them where they come out first to the second half, hit 2 threes. It's a whole different ball game. Instead of a 12-point game, it's a 7-point game. So that's my only critique. That's it.
Well, and that's what happens, and we've talked about this before. When we get into these type of games and this type of season that we have, you kind of have to become a little nitpicky about some of these things, and it's not harping on them by any means. It's just like, hey, these are a couple of areas to clean up. I mean, I feel like as close to a perfect game for Arkansas as you could get from top to bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. And to Texans' point, they went on a 9-0 run at the 9:46 mark in the first half, and Arkansas's first, 11 points, 11-0 run in the first few minutes. I mean, it just got out of, that 24-7, that set the tone for the game and how they were playing. Brazil's block, that sequence that you've seen where the dunk. I mean, if you don't think Brazil's coming out and he's ready to play, talking about somebody giving it their all. This is his last chance to shine. This is his last dance. And to see this team, how they're playing, how they're clicking, Malik Thomas, how he has just sprung into a different player. It's like DJ Wagner is up to where Malik Thomas was. Malik is now on another level, and it's like the outings we're getting. DJ is now replaced where Malik was, and now Malik's at another level. That's what I want to see, because if they can get going how they are, they have a legitimate shot at a Final Four run. And especially if you keep getting some of these teams to get knocked out, they play like this. You look at the other teams, this is a national championship caliber team.
And we talked about, all eyes have been on Darius Acuff, and Malik Thomas is still sitting there licking his chops because he's due for, I feel like, like we saw in the SEC tournament in the Arkansas second game. I think he had 28 or 29. He had 21 today. So I still expect Malik Thomas to have himself a career game, because these two came in their first NCAA tournament game, and they put the rest of the nation on notice.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is Billy Richmond, the performances he's been giving. Malik Thomas, how he's stepping up. Trevor Brazil, you have an out Malik Ewan, all the attention. And this is no fault of his, because he's as humble as they get. Darius Acuff, it's almost like, all right, y'all keep keying on Darius, because he went 9 of 19 and we still scored 70 points, outside of his outing. Like we didn't just rely on him to win. So keep sleeping on the other 5-6 guys. And we're going to show you, especially how athletic Brazil and Richmond are. And then you get Ewan, how he was playing. 6 of 8, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. We watched him airball a free throw. Yeah. So for him to go 4 for 4 and to give you 16 points, 6 assists, it's just crazy. They had 8 steals. They were, somebody said after the game, legit 40 minutes of hell. It seemed like that's what the style of play. They are conjuring that Nolan Richardson style of play, and I'm excited to watch this team the rest of the way.
You think they covered the 11.5
against High Point?
Yeah.
You want
to make another bet? No, I'm kidding. No,
don't listen. Don't get me in trouble, because I'm not good at these bets and office pools and stuff, because mine's already shot. But no, I just, what I seen from this team and how relaxed, how poised, business-like, and Acuff going out there and just doing his thing in a quiet 24-point game, when we're like, man, he's off today. So if that's crazy, if he's giving you 24 on an off day, what is he going to give you on Saturday? What's he going to give you next weekend if they do beat High Point? So I'm excited.
I am too. I think that we could see the 30-plus point game from Acuff. I would really like to see 30-plus from Acuff and 25-plus from Malik Thomas, and then round it out with, your other guys coming in at 12 to 16 each. That's probably a lot to ask for, but at the same time, they have it in them. I just hope that it's one of those. I really get leery of when Arkansas has an extremely well shooting day, which I know they were 54% from the field, but a lot of those were paint and then dunks and things like that. But if you're going to get hot, like from 3 and other things like we saw in the SEC championship, let's save that for a few more games. Yeah. I'm all about you getting all the dunks, all the fast break points, but just come out ready to go.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. After the break, we're going to look at the rest of the bracket. We're just going to see, other teams that could. BYU, Texas are underway right now as we speak, just starting off. But, if this team is to take a serious run, and we're going to look at Arizona playing tomorrow, we'll break down some of those games, some of those teams that we can look out for in if Arkansas is to make that magical run to the Final Four, what it's going to take, and we'll be right back after a quick break.
Looking to enhance your home's curb appeal? Look no further than Vision Exteriors. As your trusted roofing, siding, and exterior experts, we're here to transform your property. Our skilled team ensures your job is not only functional but also aesthetically pleasing. Along with roofing, we also offer window, gutter, and siding installation to boost your home's appearance with our quality options. Visit us at www.visionexteriors.com or call us at 479-397-4770. Let's make your vision a reality.
And welcome back to the Hog Talk podcast. Right now, as we speak, Texas is up to a 5-0 start on BYU right now. Michigan and Howard. That's crazy, a little ironic right there. Michigan and Howard, 8-2 Michigan on that game. The other side of the bracket, North Carolina is up 39-24 on VCU, and Texas A&M St. Mary's just got underway 2-0 there. So if you're looking on what – I know a lot of people, it's been different this year for me too, streaming on and trying to figure out where the heck these channels are, how to watch these games. But if you are watching them right now, True TV has the Texas A&M game. TNT is covering the North Carolina game. And on CBS, it is Michigan and Howard. And then TBS is playing Texas and BYU. So give you a little rundown. If you pull up the ESPN bracket on ESPN.com, it will show you the score, the time, and the channel that you can watch it on. So, but Adam, looking at our brackets, we know Arizona. We talked last week of Arizona being that team that could scare you. But yet you're seeing how, Duke, now they'll take on 9 seed TCU in the next round. What is it going to take from what you've seen today, continued performance, to really be like, okay, this team can make a legitimate run to a national championship?
I think your guys that have been lost at various points throughout the season, like we saw today, they're going to have to find themselves and keep it consistent. Too many times we've seen a game where, somebody comes up flat, they get in their head and ends up costing plays, costing points. I think with this team and the way they're playing right now, though, it seems like, the likes of like DJ Wagner, these guys are accepting their roles and they're doing it at the right time. So I think that has to continue. And I think Cal has done a great job of pulling these guys, whether it's in a game, whether it's practice and he does a one-on-one session like we've heard him doing. He's done a good job to keep these guys level-headed. And I think that has to continue. Because we saw, especially throughout the season, some of the guys got a little hot-headed at times. And I feel like they've done a very good job as the season has progressed to become more level-headed. Or if somebody does start getting worked up, one of the teammates pulling them to the side or getting in front of them, calming them down. Because I know there's been a few times that Billy Richmond has still gotten a little bit heated and somebody has stepped in to kind of, hey, pump the brakes a little bit. So these guys, I feel like they're doing what needs to be done to where they're working cohesively. They're working as a unit. They know each other's shortcomings, if you will. They're figuring out ways to balance each other out. They're figuring out ways to chill each other out. And they're doing it at the perfect time, which is the NCAA tournament. And
I know there was a point in today's game where, again, I was listening to on the radio, there was a point where Arkansas got a delay of game warning. I guess Billy Richmond had tossed the ball. I didn't see it, so I can't play it out how he exactly did that. But at one point, you got to look out. It's almost one of the things like, you can't make boneheaded plays because I know they didn't blow the whistle or anything. But I mean, you can't put yourself in a position like that, because if that happens in a close game in the end of the second half, or a point to where you're putting yourself, giving them the ball or put them at the free throw line late in the game, you really, one lapse of judgment can really change the effects of any of these games. And when we look at High Point, being a 12 seed, but you look at the other four. Well, let's just go Villanova, Utah State, Arizona. I mean, even a Villanova could give you problems.
Mhm.
I mean, you look at Villanova and Arizona, who you would likely meet if you get past High Point. It's one of those where, all right, we had our fun in the first round, but it's like business. It's going to get more and more serious as the tournament goes on. And then let's say, okay, we got past Arizona. You go down to the bottom half of the bracket, and you're dealing with the BYU and AJ. Outside of that, and exactly what I talked about, I just don't see a team that really matches Arkansas's intensity. And I'm talking about, if you're going to allow the threes, you better be a rim protector. If you're going to allow the layups, if you're going to really let Acuff be a defensive, where he's just not a defensive guy, then you need to step out on the three. You can't have both. And I think there was glimpses today where they were allowing layups, they were allowing easy buckets, and they were allowing open shots. Now, granted, Hawaii was only having one of the other fall. They weren't there letting both. They weren't hitting threes and getting easy buckets down low. But especially when you play a team like BYU, you got to shut their guy down. And you can't let these role players, like we were talking about High Point, where you have two of your bench players scoring 14 a game.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking right now. Advanced has got 6 points for BYU. Texas is still leading. If this would load, Texas A&M's up 9-2 on St. Mary's. North Carolina's up 11 at the half, and Michigan's up 8 on Howard. I mean, obviously these games are still early, and we've seen today halftime scores don't matter because we've seen teams claw back from that. So I expect it always seems like the night games, especially those late ones, seems like there's always some nail biters in those, which is what March Madness is all about.
Oh, absolutely. I loved it. And you look at, the teams coming in, like, I mean, let's go Miami of Ohio. People were talking about how, oh, well, they don't deserve to get in, and whether they did or didn't, but they took care of business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't come in and squeak by. I mean, they come in and won by 10. Now we're really going to see what they do tomorrow against Tennessee. They play at 3:25 on TBS, but from what I've seen, they look really good. Another team that I was surprised with was Nebraska. I mean, putting up 76 on Troy and really not making that a game. Vanderbilt, that was another 5-12 that you could have put a toss up if you wanted to try to put some upsets in your bracket. 78-68 win. So the teams that are coming in focused, now it's going to be Vanderbilt, Nebraska for a trip to the Sweet 16. I mean, it's at the point where if you don't play your best, you are going to be wondering why we didn't. And it's going to be all for nothing, because you're going to be sitting back in Fayetteville and you're watching a High Point or Arizona move on when you were the better team.
Mm-hmm. I think that the SEC championship on Sunday gave these guys just a taste of what it's like. And just seeing them celebrate post game and then jumping right back into, like we've talked about, business as usual. There's more to be desired by this team. And that's why I truly feel like they're, in my opinion, the most dangerous team in this NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm. Well, and another thing, like we overthink everything because we're looking at all these different scenarios. Like me, I was talking about, man, you give it your own SEC tournament. What happens if you play on a Thursday? We really got to, I have underestimated science and medicine and rehab and these athletes now, just how, athletic they are, how they recover, all the fluids and medicine, where you can come in and you can be ready to go on a 3 days notice. I mean, so for them to play as hard as they did during the SEC tournament, turn around and play this type of game on Thursday. Yes, it was in the afternoon. I mean, they proved me wrong when it comes to how ready they were to play this game. We've seen so many times Arkansas come out and get these matchups, even if they get the 4 seed or 5 seed and they come out flat. So for them to come out and they made a point today, they are a force to be reckoned with. Darius Akov keeps on proving why he is the top player in the country. And I can't wait to see him put on the show against High Point.
Let's see here. I'm trying to look. Yeah, nothing's really doing it. It's that lull when there's just not much. Like you're kind of waiting for those later games to start, just so you have a lot more action going on.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Look, we Adam, it would mean so much to this fan base, and I know you would be elated. I can't remember. I mean, without outing yourself, how were you the last time that Arkansas won a national championship?
That would have been 94 April. I mean, I would have been about to turn 6. I'll be 39 in May. So yeah, I was born in 87, 94. Yeah. So it was, I was almost 7 years old.
So almost 7. And that's the thing. You're at the age where you were a fan, but yet not a teenager, not where you were really just locked in. So for this to be that first grown-up national championship, that first one where you got to ride the full effects of this tournament, I know there's a lot of fans in the same boat where this will be. That's why you're hanging on to it, because you've been so close as a baseball fan, basketball fan. There's gonna be a lot of emotions of people who remember the days and they get to relive that glory. And then you have the fans that this is the first time they're really seeing it. They've been to the Elite Eight. They've gotten a glimpse. They've been one pitch away from a World Series championship. So for Arkansas to finally get to the pinnacle again, I can't even I can fathom, because I've gotten to witness that. Never thought that I would witness its championship and see it, but yet all the heartache that Razorback fans have went through to get that, dude, it'd be a exciting night on Dixon Street. That's putting it lightly.
Yeah. Let me grab something real quick. I should have grabbed it before the show, but hang on.
Okay. He's going to give us a little surprise, a little something. But no, I mean, speaking of the fans that have been fans for 40, 50, 60 years, and those fans that have been fans all their life and have never really got to witness a true championship. I was in that boat back in 15, 16, when Clemson beat Alabama in the college football. If I remember, I pulled up a tweet from a long, long, long time ago about getting the NCAA college football game, and that will be the only chance that Clemson gets to win a national championship, is playing the football game. And being able to see that game, Watson to Renfro, I will never forget that moment. So Arkansas pulls this off and goes to the championship. It's going to be a very, very special moment for y'all.
Well, and I know that there's me and some others that I've seen post, and so this will be my you can use it as a receipt later. If Arkansas does the damn thing and wins it all, on one of our shows, I will crack this open and I will drink it on air. So I've got the 6-pack, and I've said for years that I would. So yeah, if Arkansas does it, I will chug this, crack it open and chug this on one of our shows.
Well, if you see right up above, you see the white helmet. Just to the left of that white helmet is one of those, the same Coke bottles. And I have found, I have to hit my brother-in-law up. He found the cans.
Yeah.
A lot of people have the bottles, but he had the cans. So, all right. And it's weird because you want to ask those questions, but you don't want to jinx it at the same time, and superstitions and stuff like that. But it's almost like, what would somebody do? What extremes would they do if they did win? Not for a national championship, but what extremes would somebody do? Like, all right, if Arkansas wins the national championship, I'm going to do this. Like, would you shave your head on live?
No, because I'll say it like this. I've said it before on other shows. When it comes to the Arkansas podcasts and whatnot, I have the best hair out of any.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I will not. Yeah.
It's one of those. I don't know that I could shave my head, but I will chug a how many years is that? 32-year-old beverage, which may need.
So I will ask you, and I will ask our fans and the ones, and I might even clip this up. Adam, I might have you clip this up.
Okay.
Would I be welcomed? Would I be accepted into the family if Arkansas wins a national championship in basketball or wins the national championship? If I, like this tattoo here, my Clemson one, what if I did a matching Razorback on the other side? Would that be too much? Would I be, is that, I'm asking for permission. If that would be okay from the fans, the fan base, and you, or would that only be jumping on the bandwagon?
No, it would be good. You'd be good to go.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because that's what I was I was talking to some of my buddies in the office today, the ones that sabotaged our Monday show. I was talking to them. I said, I'll tell you what, Arkansas wins the national championship. I will get a Razorback tattoo on my inner bicep to match my Clemson one. Now I won't go autism puzzle pieces like my Clemson one, because that's special to me, but I won't go front facing hog. I'll get the slobber and hog on the inside of my arm if Arkansas wins the national championship.
Would you shave your beard?
Ooh. And see that I can't, because that's something my wife has to deal with. So I wouldn't. She's never seen me. I think it was 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, before Gavin was born. I have not. It was actually, I shaved it before my cousin's wedding. I was the best man in his wedding, and I shaved it before I went to Pennsylvania for his wedding, and that was in 2009. So it's been that long since I've shaved my beard. So I don't think I could do that, because that affects my wife as well. So I did think about doing that for April Fool's Day in the middle of the night, waking up and doing that, and her wake up that way. But no, I couldn't shave.
I think it's understandable. I mean, in my entire life, I've seen my dad without facial hair once. He's had a mustache my entire life, and it was because he messed up while he was shaving, so he just had to shave it all off. But that was the only, and I want to say that was the first time that even my mother had seen him without facial hair. So
wow,
that was a long time coming. I think I was like 17 or something like that. But yeah,
because I've had different variations. I've never even just had a goatee. I've had a beard the whole time, and there's a lot gray coming in now in my old age. I look a lot older than 43. I'm about to be 44. I pass for 50 sometimes. It's horrible when my brother and sister and I go out, and they're 8 and 13 years older than me, and I'm the oldest looking one of the group. That's just how it is. But no, I would do that. But I'm asking, and we'll probably clip it up and put it out there. Arkansas wins the national championship. I'm asking for permission before I do. That's what I would get. I would get a Razorback tattoo on my inner arm.
I'll clip this up as my receipt, and then I'll clip yours up. We'll put them together and be like, this is what Hog Talk's going to do. Okay.
Then we'll ask permission. Okay. Moving on real quick before we wrap things up. Arkansas baseball will be on the road. I don't know if you've seen the video or the pictures. They were repping the Arkansas basketball jerseys on the way to South Carolina to take on the Gamecocks in a 3-game series starting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. SEC Network Plus on all 3 games. They won the 2 games with Northern Colorado Tuesday and Wednesday, 13-2 and 9-4. So South Carolina is having a rough year. So this is one of them series where we want the baseball team to stay on track. Let's ride this good juju. Let's ride this momentum of positivity for the Arkansas program and take this series, sweep the series, because you have Florida coming to Fayetteville next weekend. And on the softball side, let me pull up their schedule real quick. They have UConn coming in to town, which is a weird non-conference weekend series. So they beat Central Arkansas 10-2 in 5 innings on Tuesday. And so they have a 3-game set, and then they go to Conway. So this is a really cool thing that's kind of started. I guess in a sense you can kind of say it's a rivalry because I love that they play Central Arkansas, and Central Arkansas has beaten Arkansas before. So them going to Conway and playing down there, is it? It ain't Estes, is it? I think of Estes Stadium. Is that a different stadium down there? I'm trying to think of the softball field down there. I think Estes Stadium is another. I think it's Tech's football field or something like that. But
I'm not 100% sure.
They go down there to Conway and play at UCA down there, and they'll play next Tuesday at 6 p.m. But so if you want to go see Arkansas softball this weekend, Bogle Park, tomorrow night, 6 p.m., Saturday at 4 p.m., and Sunday they'll wrap it up at noon on Sunday. So
Ferris Field.
Okay. And I do think Estes is the Tech football field. I don't know why I had that name isn't that the name of the basketball stadium too at Conway? Ferris?
It could be
the basketball arena. I think it is. I don't know. I get all those names down there mixed up.
Yeah, it's the Ferris Center also.
So big weekend. And the thing is, when we get back in the rhythm after March Madness, hopefully we're riding this train into April, all the way to Indianapolis, all the way to a national championship. But in the meantime, baseball, softball's going on. I know soccer is even doing a little spring. I don't know if check their schedule real quick. They have 2 more games left. They'll play March 19th against John Brown, and then April the 11th against Seminole. They'll have some spring sessions going on. So a lot of spring sports going on for the Razorback athletics. Get back in tune with a lot of those programs. I know the Big Three takes over, and I know we've kind of gotten away from how we used to do things, covering a lot of the sports, but we're going to get back to that, staying on top of a lot of the other programs here at Arkansas like we used to do. So, Adam, you got anything else before we wrap it up? I know it's a short show tonight, but man, it was a good win for the Razorbacks.
Nah, I'm good. Go enjoy the games tonight.
All right. Well, hey, hopefully we're coming back on Monday. Well, first off, Sunday, Hog HQ Live, 8:05. Monday, Hog Talk Live coming back. Adam, he's already proven that he is going to drink that drink if Arkansas wins the national championship. Not if they win against High Point. It's going to be if they win the national championship.
Win it all.
Win it all. But we'll be back on Sunday, Hog HQ Live, Monday for Hog Talk Podcast. And hopefully we're talking about a Sweet 16 appearance the following weekend. For Adam Hall, I'm Porter Hayes. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, all of our sponsors, and we will catch you on Monday.